morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and Dejounte Murray bumped the ref after a loss to the Celtics, or did the ref bump him? Either way, there was an altercation, and it seems like Dejounte Murray is going to be suspended for his actions. Patrick, break down the situation and who's in the right and who's in the wrong.
Josh, let's take a deeper dive here, okay? Clearly, players get frustrated after games. Dejounte Murray, he goes up to the ref. He's trying to voice his displeasure. But if we break the video down, Josh, does the referee lean in? Look, I'm not saying he does. I'm saying the NBA, they're going to have to make a call here. And does Murray get suspended with Game 5 on the line?
It seems like he's going to get suspended, unfortunately for him, because as much as we want to say the ref leaned in, which maybe he did, I'm not an expert, but it feels like the league is going to favor the ref in this particular instance. And Dejounte Murray, I mean, he was just trying to voice his displeasure, though, right? And it's very tough. And the players, they're not really given an outlet to voice their concerns, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you think about it, what else was he supposed to do?
Yeah, the NBA will fine you if you go up in a post-game press conference and you talk bad about the refs.
Yeah.
You could probably get fined if you went on like a podcast, on a live show. So, boom, Dejounte Murray said, I'm going to tell it straight to the man. And guess what? He was not happy.
No, and Patrick, but the thing is, and all jokes aside, obviously you can't bump the officials because that just feels like probably a no-go. It was the most mild, like I wouldn't even say like bump is a strong word. I would say like he touched the official. It wasn't that serious as like of a bump. Personally, do I think a one-game suspension is a little much? Yes. But, the NBA is going to do what they want to do.
Right. So we're officially here. He deserves a half of a quarter suspension, okay? Has to sit out 6 minutes in the first quarter, Game 5.
That's fair. And that's fair. And so, hey, Dejounte Murray, we're not necessarily on your side, but we're a neutral third party. That's not on the ref side either.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
What was the conflict? Why was he upset at the ref?
Well, I would argue he's probably upset because the Hawks aren't good, okay? And they have to play a team that is good, and that's the Celtics. Look, we're talking about Dejounte Murray, a guy that's a 2022 All-Star. This year, the Hawks have been terrible. They brought in Quinn Snyder. He's supposed to be the Lord and Savior to this team. He's kind of turned them around a little bit, but they got bigger problems. When you got Kevin Huerter out there in Sacramento balling out when you could have kept him, we got problems in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It runs deeper than Dejounte Murray.
Seems like it. Speaking of problems, Dillon Brooks has a problem, and it's the media. Dillon Brooks has been painted negatively by the media and has been painted to be the villain per Dillon Brooks. Now, this is a big, big thing here because for me, if you were asking me, hey, Josh, is Dillon Brooks a villain strictly based off my own eyes? I would say, yes, he is the villain. But then again, is that just because the media is telling me he's the villain? And is he really not? Because everything I've seen of him is from the media.
Right. If you really
think about it, I don't know anymore. I question it. I was like, no, Dillon Brooks, you're not. The media is not painting you out to be a villain. You're just punching LeBron James in the balls. We're lucky Bronny Jr. is already out. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a second, where did I see that clip? The media.
And Josh, Dillon Brooks is trying to tell you that the media has brainwashed you, me, everyone, into thinking Dillon Brooks is a bad guy. Is it the fact that, he said he doesn't have any respect on you until you drop 40? I'm not saying that because guess what? I didn't hear it directly from Dillon. I heard it through the media, Josh.
The media, yeah.
How am I supposed to trust that? Dylan Brooks is now telling us, hey, you can't listen. So that's why
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Dylan
whoa. Wait a
Brooks.
second, though.
Whoa.
Where did we hear the clip of him saying that we can't trust the media?
I read it in an article.
On the media. Well,
I think
Dylan,
Dylan needs to go around personally have a conversation with every single
personally,
person.
yes. And I think that's the only way he's going to be able to rectify the situation. Dylan Brooks, he's in a pickle right now. And it seems like we don't know who to believe, who to trust. And this whole Dylan Brooks situation gotten way out of hand. That being said, I mean, he is definitely not going to be playing tomorrow, right? Or
No,
tonight.
he will be playing tonight. No suspension for punching LeBron James in the balls.
Oh.
So maybe he's
So
not
maybe it
going.
is the media. So maybe he's right. Maybe the media is just blowing this out of proportion. Because if the league doesn't think it's that bad, cool.
Right. And because you got to look at it. LeBron James is what, 37, 38 years old? He's
Yeah.
like you said, Josh, he's already had Bronny Jr., he's had Bryce Maximus, he's had the family, right? So what does it matter? What is it?
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's chilling. He's chilling. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan Brooks, we apologize for the unfair treatment that you're getting on the media, and we hope that you can voice what's the truth. Anyway, speaking of voicing, Stephen Curry voiced a timeout.
Yeah.
I don't know this, but Steph Curry called a timeout when he didn't have a timeout.
Yeah,
So about 45 seconds left in the game. They're up. They're pretty much they can seal the deal. If they have a good offensive possession here, they're fine. Steph
They're
Curry
in
calls a
control, Josh.
timeout, gives the ball to the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, 4-point play.
Boom.
All of a sudden, it's a 1-point game. The Warriors could lose this thing. Now, Steph Curry having an absolute tear of a playoffs. I mean, for a 35-year-old dude, Steph Curry is going crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
But is his old age getting to him? Because you got to know how many timeouts you have. It almost cost the game. And now he didn't, so this is not as big of a story. But he did almost cost the game, to be fair. And I am a big Curry stan.
Hey, there's no harm, no loss. They're good. They're moving on. They're back to Sacramento, 2-2. It's all good. But Josh, you said Steph Curry's 35. NBA years, he's getting old. Okay.
Yeah.
He's getting up there. And normally what happens is you start to lose the physical side a bit before the mental side, right? You can't, you're not doing things as well and as efficiently as you used to. Physically, you can't hold up. You're sore. You got all these problems happening. But mentally, you might be sharper than you were when you physically were best. Steph Curry is such a difference maker that he's the opposite. The physical attributes, they're still there.
Yeah.
But he can't remember how many timeouts, and he's just mentally not as sharp. And look, I'm not gonna get into his life. I hope everything's okay, but we don't know. You know, maybe he had a really bad sandwich for lunch and it's been bad on his mind. Maybe he's gotta go home and gotta look at Twitter and realize that there's one person out there that's mad at him. It's a tough thing. So I don't look, he gets the win. I'm not here to harm on him. Look, Steph Curry, it's okay, man.
Yeah, well, arguably, Patrick, I don't know. Did Steph Curry ever have the physicality? I mean, in the first place, so I don't even think he has that to lose. So, I mean, he's in a great spot regarding that. I know Steph Curry. Listen, dude, Steph is crazy. I watched that game the other day. I watched game 2. No, yeah, game 3. And, dude, ridiculous.
He's good.
Crazy good. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Series tied 2-2. Who knows? I think the Warriors could rip. If the Warriors pull this off, they could easily go on a run here. And what they'll beat the Lakers next, right? And the Warriors could beat the Lakers.
It can happen.
Easily.
It can certainly happen.
Moving on to the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins was in the Fear of God fashion show. He was walking the runway. Patrick, what do you think of the looks? And do you think that DeAndre Hopkins is doing a good job diversifying his career?
Right, and that's what you got to look for. Look, DeAndre Hopkins, no, he's entering the latter part of his NFL career, most likely. So he's got to be looking at things to focus on post NFL career. And the other thing is DeAndre Hopkins is in a very weird situation. He's kind of unemployed, but he's not,
Yeah.
because he's probably not going to play for the team that he's on next year, but he's not on a different team. So he's kind of getting paid a lot of money not to go to work. He's living the American dream. It's make a lot of money, do little work. And you know what? If he wants to show up to a fashion show, I'm all for it. DeAndre Hopkins, you do you.
Now, was him showing up at that fashion show kind of an insult to models everywhere, though, because he didn't earn the right to be in the show? Because it's a big conversation. When Jeff Saturday got hired as an NFL coach, it's like, okay, Jeff Saturday took the job of somebody who potentially deserved or earned that spot more. DeAndre Hopkins gets into the fashion show strictly off of him being a famous star athlete. Is he's taken away the job of some model out there? This is the questions I'm asking.
Wrong, Josh. Spin zone. DeAndre Hopkins is so talented. He's like a multi-sport athlete, except he's a multi-career athlete. He's good on the football field. He's good on the runway. That's what you get. That's a dual sport.
Or
Dual
maybe, and he's bringing more eyeballs to fashion, and so that has to be good for the industry. So that's good for them. DeAndre Hopkins is in a weird situation right now. Basically, it's come out. The Arizona Cardinals won a second-round pick. Very reasonable. Very reasonable. Like, you'd argue if the Arizona Cardinals had Aaron Rodgers and were trying to trade with the Jets right now, deal would have been done 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, DeAndre Hopkins is like, and I'll rework my contract however we need to. So, like,
That's
you
right.
want to give me void years, you want to do whatever it is, I'm willing to do it. Let's make it happen. Which, to me, then I'm mind blown that he hasn't been traded for yet. Drafts within less than a week. It will
Josh,
happen.
official prediction. Official prediction. DeAndre Hopkins will get traded before Friday at 7 p.m.
That's a great prediction, Patrick. I think I'm right there with you.
Thank you.
Speaking of Friday at 7 p.m., Will Levis. So he came out with a throw, on his back shoulder, in how would you describe that stance? Like, both legs underneath his shoulders, facing forward, to literally just like I'm sitting right now. But imagine if I just threw it like 70 yards. He did that. But as much as people want to say that's helping his draft stock, and a lot of people are saying he's Zach Wilson 2.0.
Well, the mayonnaise man, there's only one thing left to happen, right? It's Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, Will Levis drafted in the first round as his backup. We all know this is naturally what's going to happen. Will Levis, he's going to take over the throne in a few years. Look, if they fell in love with Zach Wilson, they are just absolutely in love with Will Levis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I 100% agree with you, Patrick. The only thing I disagree with you is I don't think
Zach Wilson walked so Will Levis could run.
Yeah. I see that, Patrick. And I 100% agree. If Will Levis falls to the Jets, that's 100% might be a conversation. I don't think Will Levis is going to fall to the Jets. He might be, right now, he's probably going to be a top 5 pick, which is pretty crazy. And it's great for him that, I mean, his campaign for, like, whoever his agent is has to be thrilled that Will Levis is all of a sudden like, this happens every year, though. People are like, okay, there's only really like 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks that are good that we can consider taking in the first round. And then all of a sudden, like, the further and further we get separated from their actual play in college, the more we go, actually, if you think about it, and then next thing you know, like, we're like, no, we got like, there's like 6 guys who could do it this year that are going to be like studs. And it's we had like 2 guys like a month ago. What's going on here?
And if you asked me a month ago, it seemed like Anthony Richardson was going to be that guy. Now he may be falling a bit. Look, Will Levis, top 5. We talked about it before, Josh. But naturally, there's another QB that's on the market that's likely to be traded, and they're going to need a spot. Will Levis to the Titans, and he gets to stay around Kentucky's kind of close to Tennessee.
I mean,
But Will Levis to the Titans.
U.S. is a big state. I mean, big country, so it's like closer than Alaska.
Yeah, way closer than Alaska.
Way closer than Alaska. Yeah, Patrick. Tannehill trade rumors are definitely a buzz right now. I mean, and this is on top of Derrick Henry to the Eagles trade rumors, which came out a couple days ago. Who knows the legitimacy of that? Tannehill trade rumors. Who's trading for Tannehill? No disrespect to Tannehill. I'm sure, but who's trading for Tannehill right now?
Josh, do you know how much money Ryan Tannehill costs next season?
How much?
$36 million.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I did not know there was that much.
Is there anyone
that's like more money than Lamar Jackson's made in his career?
It's more money than Lamar Jackson will make this year.
Yeah.
30. Lamar Jackson just signed. Well, has not signed his tender yet, but assuming he signs his tender, it's $32 million. Ryan Tannehill, 36.
Yeah. Okay.
And the irony of that, Josh, is Ryan Tannehill was a wide receiver at Texas A&M that turned into a quarterback.
Oh, wow. It's just that's poetry right there. Man, I don't know who's trading for Tannehill, but if the Titans find a suitor, I hope it works out better than the A.J. Brown trade. This is really all I have to say about that.
Oh, and that's what you do is you get Josh. It's a duo trade. So you bring in Derrick Henry,
and you take Tannehill's contract.
Yeah, and you take Tannehill's contract, and that's why the Eagles are so interested because they know they need a $36 million backup. Because when you're signing a franchise guy, your backup has to be rather worth the
well, they remember their
money.
They remember their last Super Bowl. They remember what happened last time they signed a big contract for a dude. The Eagles are not dumb.
The Eagles value a backup quarterback, Josh.
They value backup quarterback. So I mean, just look at what Minshew did this year. Is Minshew still on the team though? Is the question? Because I don't think
because they're looking for an upgrade, Josh. They said we got Minshew here, Ryan Tannehill here. Let's not forget Ryan Tannehill.
I don't know.
He is an AFC Championship loser. He's a guy that
he got there. Yeah. Great point, Patrick. Very great point. I do believe it's kind of, they're just trying to clear a room, though, because they know not to draft a quarterback. They're trying to set the precedent. Hey, Malik, this is your team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest thing.
And that's why you bring in Will Levis is so that you can challenge Malik Willis.
And we've said this on the internet before. Was not received well.
No.
But we've said this before. Cool. Moving on. Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Now, this fight went 7 rounds, ended with Garcia on the ground to a body shot. I believe that was his first loss. And Ryan Garcia saying, whoa, hold up. Found out there's a mole in my camp. So he's glad that it was exposed, but he just wanted to let everyone know that was the case. And Patrick, I don't know how much like a mole in the camp would actually, does that affect the fight? Like, it's one thing in NFL if you're just dropping and leaking somebody's playbook, but in fighting, is that, because you obviously expert boxing guy, if somebody leaks your game plan in boxing, how much of an impact will that make?
Well, and Josh, so you have to tear it apart. Okay. Yeah. So when you look at the sport of boxing, you're using body shots, you're using headshots. It is, and there's different rules of tactics to go by that.
Yeah.
And when you have someone else's playbook, you understand the strategy that they're going to use. Garcia thinks that this is a huge deal. What I can tell you is Tank Davis, well, he must have used it to his advantage. But I'm going to throw out a conspiracy here for you, Josh.
Okay.
This fight was supposed to happen in 2022, right? It was supposed to be Hector Garcia, Tank Davis.
Yeah.
Tank Davis gets arrested. Fight can't go on. Okay. Did Tank Davis know that he was going to lose this fight? Puts a mole in the camp of Garcia, and this outcome's completely different.
Man, Ryan Garcia's got to be he's going crazy right now. That's a real probability. I don't know who in Garcia's camp would switch up like that. But listen, if in fact it does make a big difference, that sucks for Garcia. That being said, like, did Garcia just also like need an excuse, pick a fall guy and say, "Hey, you're the mole now," and then just like fire him? Because there's a chance that happened too. Garcia, I'm finding out he tried to be friends with Tank. He said, "Hey, can we be friends after this?" Tank said no. So,
Josh, I would argue Tank maybe not the greatest person.
maybe not the guy you want to be friends with. Is that
Yeah,
that bad judgment on Ryan Garcia?
and some are well, you know how some things work out, Josh. Sometimes it works out for the best. Maybe
Yeah.
for Garcia, it's like dodged a bullet there.
No, but everyone's saying this fight's gonna have is gonna have a rematch. I don't know. I don't know if Tank takes that.
Because Tank might not have the mole anymore. So if the Tank doesn't have the mole anymore, he knows he might not be able to beat him. So if there's
It's
a round
true.
2 fight, maybe the mole rumor's not true. But if I am Garcia, you kind of got embarrassed. Like let's be honest. Like
That's
you kind of
true.
got embarrassed.
And I'm not
Okay,
sure what the body shot must have hit some like organ because I
yeah,
mean that like was bad, dude. It was
didn't look great.
bad. And you were like the chosen one, Garcia was. And everyone, I mean Drake knew though. Drake knew Tank was going to win. $1 million bet on Tank.
Well, and
And
Drake's fortunes. Let's talk about Drake. We talk about a guy that set the precedent of being an all-time jinx. He's
turned it
he's
around.
he's turning it around where he's starting to put some big money down and getting big results. All of a sudden, Drake's not a guy you fade. Drake's a guy you ride.
Which is just
Okay.
I mean a complete 180 and you have to feel great for Drake. And arguably now it's kind of great because think about how much money people probably made fading Drake. And then
Mhm.
now he's hot, you ride him and you just boom. You just stay winning.
Right. It's like Drake when he had the music video God's Plan, gave out $1 million.
Yeah.
He's also giving back to the community with these hot picks. It's Drake. He might win a Nobel Peace Prize.
He might. And his new AI song is killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Was jumping up the charts until now. Record label cease and desist, took it
Can't
down.
do
They
that.
said no. And they're just kind of jealous, I think, that this ghostwriter, who notable ghostwriter, I think, for multiple rappers, was able to just pop out a better Drake song than his newest songs, his new single, what's it called?
Search and Rescue.
Search and Rescue. He popped out a better. It was more catchy than Search and Rescue.
Yeah,
Like
but
I was like, I
also
would unironically listen to it. I went to stream it the other day, play it somewhere, couldn't find it anywhere. It's gone.
yeah, but if you're Drake, wouldn't you? Isn't it kind of awesome if you don't have to do any work and AI can just do all the work for you?
Like I would just like buy that song from how actually like it begs the question like was Search and Rescue even him?
You have to wonder.
Does
Is
Drake
any
get
of
to the
these
point?
songs?
Well, that's the one thing I want to know. With the way that music is heading right now, do we get to a point where these artists are just so big and the AI is so good that the artists don't even need to like do anything, and they're just like, hey, they just sign with the record label. The record label's like, hey, we're gonna pop out bangers for you, and he's like, cool, and then he just has to go out and be flashy and do cool stuff, and the record label's just popping out songs. He doesn't even need to show up to work once.
Yeah, some intern named Jimmy's back there just writing
Like
up the song of the
he's like,
summer.
I'm gonna say yes, boom, and then boom, and it's like it's good, and
And then just drop a couple
it's a
lines in there
hit.
and be like, yeah.
That would make the music industry so hard to like break into because it's like if you have all these recognizable voices that are gonna live forever, like you're gonna be able to make a Drake AI song for the next 1,000 years because it's
Yep.
always gonna exist, even when Drake's dead. You can
Well,
be
didn't they
popping
do
out
that
new
with
Drake
Michael
music.
Jackson?
Did they?
Well, didn't Michael Jackson have a song with Drake?
I feel like
Didn't they just manipulate some audio recordings or something?
oh man. See, that's a tough thing. Also, like, what about like likeness? Like, are we gonna have one day is AI gonna be so good we're gonna be watching a Drake music video and it's like, oh, that's not even Drake. Like,
We don't know. We don't
scary
know.
place. Scary place. You know what else is a scary place, Patrick?
What?
National League. You know, it's not a scary place.
What?
League Two. And that's what Wrexham was promoted to after a 3-1 win over Boreham Wood. Ryan Reynolds has to be feeling pretty good about the team. They are now only like 3 leagues away from the Champions League. So you have to be feeling good. I mean, they got the TikTok sponsorship.
Josh,
They got a lot of things going for them right now. It's a great day to be a Wrexham fan.
there's no excuse for this team not to be in the Premier League in the next 5 years, and I mean that totally unironically.
But like,
okay,
yeah, the amount of they're putting money into it. I mean, it's very tough. If they make it to the Premier League in the next like 5, even 10 years, say it takes 10 years, and they could just continually invest in it. Ryan Reynolds is the best businessman of all time. That's like he bought the team for $2.5 million. If they make it to the Premier League, the amount of money he's going to make off of that is stupid.
Josh, they should make it to the Premier League in the next 5 years. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because they're getting guys that are like League Two talents, and they're playing them in the 4th and 5th league of English football. Okay, it's not a fair matchup. Okay, and that being said, they still were kind of on the line on whether or not they were going to get promoted. I understand it's very difficult. Okay, I am not an English football guy. I understand it's difficult to get promoted.
Yeah.
Josh, there's almost no excuse when you're dumping this amount of money into a team. You got to expect results. And I'm just going to say, I think Ryan Reynolds is the only American businessman that English football likes. Everyone else, they want to get rid of those guys.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is the only one they like.
Well, then you got to look like Ryan Reynolds takes over the team. They obviously had massive success. Now, LeBron James Liverpool had a run for theirs for a sec.
They did.
They're kind of on the decline, it seems like. So, you tell me. You tell me.
Right.
Well, good for Wrexham. Very proud of you guys. It's hard not to root for them.
It's awesome story.
It is awesome. It is cool. It's cool. So, okay, moving on. NASCAR recap. Patrick, Talladega happened. Personally, now, full transparency. When it comes to a super speedway race, I'm not glued in every single lap watching.
Agreed.
I'm in, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. You know? Not kind of a boring race for a while there.
It was a solid race yesterday. There's not great, not bad. It was a race.
Yeah. But at the end there, things got interesting because Bubba Wallace with the lead, trying to hold off his friend, Ryan Blaney, good friend in real life, Ryan Blaney.
Good friend.
Ryan Blaney clearly has the car. Clearly faster car. Trying to make a move. He's running. He's trying to get on the outside. No. Bubba goes to the block. He's trying to get on the inside. Oh, no. Bubba goes to the block. Finally, the third time, Blaney goes to pass him. Now, again, clearly faster car. He has a worse car, but he's also loose. I mean, Bubba, much looser car. And so, Bubba goes up to block. Well, guess what? Blaney had already started to clear him. So, Bubba then just wrecks himself, takes out a whole boatload of people in the process. Kyle Busch takes the lead. And then all of a sudden, yellow flag, race is over. And Bubba, he recognizes in the post interview, he said, it wasn't 12's fault. He takes responsibility. But man, that's a tough way to end a race.
Josh, it's a move Bubba had to make. Okay, I don't understand why people are so mad at him. It's the last lap. He's gonna make this move, and if you ask him again, would he do it again? He'd say yes, but he would make the block sooner. The only problem is he was just a bit late on the block, and sometimes that happens. But it's the last lap. You got to hold your ground. You're in the lead. You're a sitting duck. You have to do everything you can to try to keep the guys behind you, and it just unfortunately didn't work out in his favor.
I agree with you in a sense. Like it's last lap. You got to be aggressive. I think if he had just tried to leave maybe the 12 out to dry, he could have gathered
But
himself.
but Josh, you said it yourself. At any point, if the yellow flag comes out, the race is over, right? So he
Yeah,
doesn't have the luxury of, oh, well, I got until I get back to the start finish line. No, the race can end any second
yeah,
because a
that's
guy
true.
in the middle
That's fair.
pack.
That's fair. No, I think it was just. I understand why Bubba made the move. It just was poorly executed, and I'm
Here's
not hating on Bubba. It's just like, yeah, it's just that's what it was. It's a tough way to end a race. You feel bad, but it's just how it is.
Josh, and here's my argument, okay? Bubba's a good driver. He's proven that he's a really good super speedway driver.
Yeah.
He's also
Well,
proven that he can win on the other tracks. Well, if
yeah, he
I'm
has
Bubba,
a win.
he had speed last year. He's proven that he can
Yeah,
run
no, and
there.
it's fair, but also he is like a significantly better car than half the field as well. In
Right.
defense,
So,
in
so
defense.
my point is you can't rely on being lucky at a super speedway. If you're Bubba Wallace, and I think he understands this, you got to go win a race at a track where there's not as much luck involved. Like you
Yeah.
can't just
Well,
rely on
his
being
only
a lucky
win
driver.
his only win is a rain delay.
No,
Yeah,
he won a race last year.
legitimately.
Yeah,
Oh,
at,
cool.
at Kansas.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like he's proven that he can do it. It's just he needs to
Yeah.
just go do it. That's my point.
Yeah, probably should. I mean, at some point you look at the field and you're like, okay, Bubba clearly in one of the best cars, but hasn't had the success of the other drivers in similar rides. So at some point, yeah, you're right. You just got to do it. And this felt like this was the moment for him. Couldn't get it done. Talladega is a hard race to win, but we'll see what happens. Maybe Bubba can bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my guy Chase, not so great.
Hey, won stage one.
Did win stage one. Thought for a second there it was going to be really good.
Should have stopped the count.
Should have stopped the count. But my pick, Kyle Larson, he's due for a bounce back week, though, I think.
That was a bad wreck, Josh.
Bad wreck. I mean, that was tough. And, well, it was not as good, worse on him as it was Priest.
That in-car camera.
Crazy.
And Josh, but you know that you're an iRacer yourself. You got the rating.
Well, I don't think I mean in all my days of racing, I don't think I was ever in an impact that hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy. Also moving on, XFL playoffs are set, Patrick. We got on the Sea Dragons versus
Sea Dragons travel to the DC Defenders.
Defenders. And then we have the Roughnecks versus
the Renegades.
Again?
Yes.
Oh, so we get back-to-back weeks?
Well, didn't you guys play the Brahmas?
Not today. No. We didn't play. We played the we beat the Renegades 25-9 to yesterday.
Well, boom, you get to play them again.
So we got to play them a third time?
Yes. And everybody knows how difficult it is to beat a team a third time.
Yeah, wait, what? I don't like this. And we just it's not like and we just smoked them. So this is the worst like trap game of all time.
Yeah, because the Defenders beat the Brahmas, the Renegades were able to get in, even with the loss yesterday. So
ridiculous.
Look, I just know that the game to watch this weekend is going to be Seattle versus DC. DC's going to have that crowd rocking. Houston.
Well, Seattle is also they know how to play the DC Defenders.
Yeah, Gucci DiNucci's good.
Yeah.
There's no argument there. But have you ever has Ben DiNucci ever played in an XFL playoff environment? I don't think so.
Wait, yeah, but to be fair, I don't think Tamu has either.
But he's home, Josh. But he's home. He's not on the road.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
that's my point.
Playoff environment. You said playoff.
I said XFL playoff environment. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Hey, I'm excited. I'm pumped now. Yeah, that should be very very interesting to see how it unfolds. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's the show, man. Just quick recap. Boom. NBA, Dejounte Murray bumps a ref after a loss to the Celtics. Dylan Brooks has a beef with the media as they're painting him to be the villain. Curry doesn't know how many timeouts his team has. DeAndre Hopkins was in a fashion show. Will Levis is the Zach Wilson 2.0 with a crazy throw that's going viral. Packers, Jets are talking again. I don't even think we covered that, but they are talking again. Tannehill trade rumors are buzzing. Tank Davis had a mole in Ryan Garcia's camp. And then Wrexham was promoted to League Two. And Bubba Wallace couldn't hold off, had a bad block. Kyle Busch wins Talladega. And lastly, we got XFL playoffs are set. Boom. That's the show. Make sure you guys
Great job,
DM
Josh.
us at Picks and Pancakes to get a free mug and a $10 McDonald's gift card. This is a real offer. Just all you have to do is do it. And make sure you guys go to picksandpancakes.com to read everything that's happening in sports. I'll see you guys Friday. You have a wonderful day. A peace.